right, welcome everybody tonight. Really exciting project we're going to be featuring called Wanderlust. Wanderlust is a new project that has not launched yet, focusing and targeting the travel industry, which is up my alley, to be honest with you. On the team, we have Mike here tonight to explain the project. Mike, welcome to the call, my friend, and the DeFi Angels here. We're really excited to learn more about Wanderlust, and I will hit on it again. Travel, that's a big industry, right? So, and I love to travel, so I'm actually personally really excited to learn more about yourself tonight in the project, and ask you guys a couple questions before the launch, which I think is this weekend. But anyways, without further ado, Mike, welcome to the call, my friend. If you can, please just give us a little bit of background, introduction about yourself. Maybe what you've done in the past and what brought you to the DeFi space, and then from there, we'll move into the presentation of the project. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be able to share Wanderlust with the DeFi Angels and the community here. Again, my name is Mike Johnson, 30-year-old entrepreneur, born and raised in Florida, and have traveled plenty since then. I come from a background of sales and finance. So I worked 10 years in the sales industry, moving into finance and loan structure and cash flow. Um, I started with crypto investments in 2018. Didn't really move into the DeFi area until it was January of 2020. Right before a lot of people started really getting very active in the space. Well, can't say very active because it's still such a small, portion of people that are even invested in crypto, in the decentralized finance area. Um, but yeah, I got in and I started, you know, getting a feel in project investing in projects and in the BSC and made a pretty good portfolio with some of the coins that hit it off real big last April and March, and then I discovered utility tokens and the idea behind it, and it kind of just struck a nerve um, with where I saw problems and or I saw problems and solutions, and kind of just took it with passion from using a lot of my own portfolio to build up the company and everything. And eventually, September of last year, I was able to leave the finance industry and the office life and go full time crypto and Wanderlust, where this is all I do now.
Amazing. Yeah, and I'm sure that, coming from traditional finance, that side of the sector, right? And then coming into this space, it's really kind of a shell shock. Myself, I come from private equity, have an extensive sales background as well prior to that. But yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting world that we're in today, right? The transition of wealth that we're seeing and the way that it's going. So it's good to hear your experience there and you kind of applying that, like you said, problem solving towards this space, right? I think that we're super early here, so it's prudent to have like-minded individuals like yourself really penetrating the space and creating good opportunities. With that said, good opportunities. So most of the time that we get to some of these projects, they're mostly launched. So this is one of the projects that have come across our desk prior to a launch, which is really exciting to have you here and to really learn more about it. So with Wanderlust, tell us more about it. At a very high level, what the project is, how it works for the investors, just really all the good material if you can.
Yeah. So Wanderlust is and it's a small startup corporation that is targeting to decentralize the travel industry. We are looking to do that with partnerships through our native token, the development of a all-in-one travel blockchain companion app, and then we want to be able to bring the virtual aspects and the travel, the travel experience, not just the financial solutions or problems being solved within the travel industry, but actually the experience to the blockchain and with some development and the technology that's become possible through things like the Wanderlust NFT generator. So first off, what we're doing is we're developing a all-in-one blockchain companion app. This is an app where users will be able to take the of our Wonder token, and take that and be able to use it to purchase travel accommodations, whether it's going to be experiences where at the location where they're traveling, or to actually modes of transportation to arrive, or companies in the hospitality industry to stay and uh, be able to enjoy these different places throughout the world. We're taking a different approach to it than a lot of some of the other. I can't say a lot of some of the other cryptos and travel industry, but we're taking a different approach than any of the other ones have, by trying to target direct partnerships and really trying to solve a worldwide problem within the travel industry. Um, so with that being said, decentralizing the travel industry is no small task. It is a very ambitious goal, and it is obviously a big business plan that takes a lot of time to develop. So it was important for us to be able to um, take and create community engagement and holder incentive at a very early age. So we created stuff like the NFT generator that incorporates a lottery system for users to be able to win a free vacation paid for by Wanderlust just by minting their photos and their digital art into NFTs. They automatically get entered into this lottery system for using our platform. And then we incorporated staking into our token mechanics so that it gives holder incentive for high staking rewards with a dynamic staking pool that is built to never run out and always grow. So, um, in a gist, we're looking to tackle the travel industry and experience all in one, and then compact it into a companion app, which is quite diverse. It's like it's going to be a booking platform, a social media, a minting platform, a wallet, um, as well as a NFT portfolio, which can be followed in of sorts. So it's
It's
quite the project.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like it, right? Like decentralizing travel. And I'm just like trying to understand this, right? Like, because normally for me, right, and probably most people, like I get on booking.com is one, like I have the genius deal, I get free room upgrades. And so when I go in, I want to book a vacation, I go there, I book it. So explain to me a little bit, like as a user, right? And a traveler at that, and also a crypto investor, how would I interact with a project like this? And then how do I take advantage of some of these trips? Can you explain some of that process for me?
Yeah, absolutely. So the major advantage is, there are going to be two that we really hit on. One is going to be the efficiency of booking and traveling. So right now, when you go and travel, you have to look at multiple platforms in order to uh, make a full trip complete. You need to go to one to book your flights, you need to go to another one, the look at the best places to stay and where you're planning on traveling, then another one to actually book that place. Then you're going to go into another one looking for experiences and reviews on certain companies for those experiences. Now we are taking all of that and we're placing it into one companion app. So simply someone goes into their phone, they logs in using their face, fingerprint, whatever method they have for logging in. Um, and then they're going to have their wallet. So they're actually their currency are going to be stored within the companion app. They take that and they just go to the booking platform. They would simply go to search if they want to book a flight, book a hotel, book an experience, book transportation. And then they would be able to book it directly with one of our partners through their wallet and their crypto without paying any of the decentralized tax on that, or the transaction tax on that. Where it really benefits the not only travelers and the crypto users is travel is something that it attributes to a very large percentage of the global um, to the whole GPD. I think in 2019 it was $2.9 trillion just in touristic profits from travel, which is just an astronomical amount of money. We're looking to tap into a small percentage of that to start with, and where it's going to really bring benefit to the users is globally there is not a seamless or a fair purchasing option for people in different geographical locations. So if you're in North America, if you're in Europe, if you're in South America, depending on where you're going, is going to depend on what you pay in order to travel. And that's just not because you're traveling further or the currencies are different. Even after currency exchange rates and everything like that, there is a vast differences due to um, third party companies and high commissions paid and profits paid out through those third parties. So what we're looking to do and why we're not looking to make go the faster and simpler route, which is to just go to a third party like booking.com or Travel or something like that, and just saying, hey, let me partner with you guys, creating a bridge with our native token that converts it and allows them to be happy and keep all the commissions and stuff like that, because it doesn't solve any real world problems. So what we're looking to do is partner directly with the properties, the hotels, the small businesses, and that way, which it's truly decentralizing the industry, because we are giving the same opportunity geographically to anybody. uh, so it doesn't matter where they live, they pay the same price because they're playing through a decentralized platform.
Okay. Yeah, that now that's interesting. That part is being anywhere in the world, obviously, if you're in crypto, I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about it, right? Like we can exchange money with somebody in a third world country, or have that opportunity. And I think providing that through a travel app gets interesting. So let me get to the juicy stuff. Like as a project, right? Like at the end of the day, we're all a business. DeFi Angels is a business. Wanderlust in a sense is a business. It will be. So how do you make money from this project as a team?
So for the team, okay, so for the team, um, right now we have set aside a small percentage of token supply that will be vested for team tokens. That's just initiation for startup. Obviously, we're looking to build something into a corporation, into a company, where the profits and the payouts for the corporation, which goes to employees, will come through the partnerships, through the bookings, through the experiences, through percentage profit run. Can't profit is very important in order to be successful. So that will be through the partners generated. We also have development funds and payout events for when we hit certain milestones of our platforms, like our NFT generator and other planned events to take place with certain NFT launches and things of that nature. But the main pay for the actual corporation and the company will come from the actual use or the true utility of the token, as well as being shareholders ourselves. We will have that payouts for the employees.
Got it, got it. So yeah, so basically, a sense, team tokens, right, are allocated. So you'll have that as an investor. Is there any mechanism within the tokenomics, maybe, or the project itself says that, let's say I'm a user, I go in, I want to, take advantage of, using some of my crypto to travel with, right? So I want to go through Wanderlust. I book a trip to Hawaii. We'll just say there, is there any cut from that transaction of whatever it would be, BNB, BSC, or your native token? Would a cut of that be going back to the business, like as like kind of like a booking agency or a travel agency,
No.
right? Like, so it's not okay. So
Yes.
it's strictly
No.
on the
No.
side.
So we're not. Yeah. So we're actually planning on eliminating taxes completely. That is actually written into the contract, where we'll be able to turn taxes off completely once we develop into a full-blown corporation with our companion app live. Obviously, taxes are important for startups because they give the opportunities for like dealer or for the holder incentives. So there's a portion of it that's going to go to staking. There's a portion of it that's going to go to the liquidity. Obviously, you want that as big as possible to keep your investors there, keep them happy, allowing transfers and transactions to occur without any hiccups. And then we have our marketing development. So that will go towards the marketing and development of the project, which is going to be continuous as as being a crypto business at period. The development's not going to stop because the technology is so young, and there's just development that's being made within the space, just constantly. So we have to keep up to the development. We're a travel development company, if you would, because we develop platforms that decentralize and create efficiency within the travel industry.
Copy that. Got it. Okay. Um, Very interesting. And so well, at the first of, when you were going through your presentation, I heard hospitality. So is this obviously targeting like hotels? I would maybe assume Airbnbs. Are you going to leverage, or do you have a specific, type of route picked out that you're working with? And let me word this a little better. Are you currently, talking to maybe some of these hotels or making some of these partnerships, or do you have, relationships with folks with Airbnbs to leverage, or is this all just being baked in the concept right now?
No, no, yes. So that was actually one of the most important things while building the business, and the first milestone that we wanted to undergo was proof of concept. So you could dream up an idea for a business all you want, but until you prove it to be plausible, then it makes no sense for the investors. So the most important thing was for us to go and gain this proof of concept by taking a property that's saying, "Hey, look, I'm a property owner. I like what you guys are doing. I like your company. I will accept your native asset for people to go ahead and stay at my residence." So we actually flew out to Rome for Blockchain Week in November of last year, and we signed our first property willing to accept our native asset. And we're in talks with many individual property owners, as well as in talks with some of the bigger resort chains that are looking to move into the decentralized world and the crypto world. Obviously, there's a lot of things that need to take place for that to be possible for them on their side, and a lot of things that need to be covered. So it's a lengthy conversation to begin. It's a little bit easier for a homeowner saying, "Hey, yes, that sounds good. Let me rent out my property." So we did open it up there because that just it gets the ball rolling with the possibility of things happening. And we also have created a system in which will bring our community members into paid commission role types for the company. So we gained a we we gained a connection, a partnership, I should say, with a certain real estate entity in Europe, which allows us to reach out to a large number of homeowners and individuals that would be interested, Airbnb holders and stuff like that. And then we are also creating what's called a outreach task force, which will be a commission-based pay for our community to come and interview for these positions, which brings them into the growth of the company, uh, and they will be responsible for reaching out to homeowners' properties, or if someone wanted to referral over a property because they knew someone that had a house, or a small business like a fishing tour business or something of that nature, then they bring them on board, and then there's commissions that's paid out for these people bringing partners to us.
Well, that's pretty cool. So it's kind of like an affiliate program within the token itself for your community, right? So if you know somebody maybe that, has, let's say like me, I own, a few family homes that we lease out, right? So if I had those and we had a conversation and, there would be a commission there, basically for putting people there. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Got it.
we're actually going to provide the leads. We're going to provide the leads for the outreach task force. So their job is to set appointments, and then there's going to be a second role, a more advanced role that's actually for going and introducing Wanderlust, showing them the application process. So we're actually having an application developed right now where property owners, small businesses, resorts, property managers that can go onto our website and fill out an application. With this application, then we get all of their information. We're able to run our background. Then we'll be able to add them on the list of the partnerships to be listed on our companion app when it launches. So we have that, and then we have a property management system that's being developed right now. So we're actually developing it where property owners can go in, they log in, they're able to update their information about their property, add photos, rules, amenities, certain features, get and the price. It's also where they set up their wallet and able to collect funds and everything of that nature. So we have those two things being developed right now for the release actually relatively soon.
Got it. Yeah, really interesting there, right? Like being able to come in and it's almost like a crypto Airbnb in a way, the way it sounds, right? And then you have like the commissions going out, but the experience is part too, right? Like you mentioned, somebody maybe with a fishing boat, like a guide, right? So you could have, all these different companies in a way, tourist based companies, they're everywhere. You go to any island, right? I go to a lot of islands. So any island that I go to, there's always like a whale watching boat, right? Or maybe like we'll go do a fishing tour, we'll do an adventure tour, we go snorkeling, jet skis, etc. Right. So
Jet ski rentals. Yep. Yep.
yeah, and boats too, right? So I mean, you go to Miami, like we were just there for an event, and some folks at the event actually arrived via boat and stayed on the boat in the channel there, and that's what they rented. So that is very interesting. So is the onboarding process, I assume, is the same, just worded different between, are you a homeowner, a property owner at that, or do you own a business that's wanting to apply, and so forth. So just fractionalizing those out, and building partnerships there, I can see that being prudent to your success. What places right now, other than Europe, have you started making some of these connections?
North America, Brazil, and and talks with properties in Thailand and Philippines.
Got it. Okay, cool. And when does the token go live again?
We are going to be announcing the exact date tomorrow, but it's going to be in about 3 weeks.
Okay, great. And so right now, for anybody that wants to find you, I think there's a pre-sale open, correct?
There is a private sale. We have 37 BNB left until it's filled with a max wallet of 10 BNB. It's 48,000 tokens, more than listing without your 6% tax. So you get 26% more, 26% more tokens than our listing price would be.
Got it. Okay, very good. And then very good. I'm gonna pause for a minute. I've been hammering away with these questions. I'm gonna open the floor up for our team. If anybody has any questions, feel free to jump in. And I'm sure I'll be back with more, Mike. Thank you so far.
Okay,
Thank
I can totally.
I got one. What is your target market, or an age range that you're looking at targeting?
So that's I so your demographic is going to be quite various in the travel industry. Because you're gonna have a lot of very young successful people that love to do it. You're gonna have your travel bloggers, your travel bloggers and your photographers. They're gonna be a big targeted audiences. You're gonna have your everyday vacationers. So this is actually just for life in itself, because I mean that's how I've explained it in the past. Whether it's the person that's getting up to ride the subway to work in the city, or someone that's taking the family to Disney, I want there to be an option for every user that makes sense. Um, so while we have branded ourselves with a very sophisticated and mature brand and look, it's really for the Wanderlust souls. I mean, if you look at the morals of the company and the branding and our guidelines, and just the meaning behind Wanderlust is the people that truly believe in travel. I know I certainly do it. I know it changed my life and opened me up to a whole nother world. And that's kind of where we grab a lot of attention, is people that are just truly passionate about traveling, seeing the world, experiencing different cultures, food, and stuff like that. So we're really going to start to mold our community into um, a kind of an experience itself. When you become part of the community, you actually are going to be able to experience other cultures within the community. So I guess it would be truly the wanderlust, the wanderers out there, I should say, which come in all ages.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, do you ever have a plan on doing maybe like special packages when you find better rates, or some to
Uh,
incentivize people if they go with your plan?
Yes, Yes, and we're also going to have a tiered process. So it's under development, but we're going to have a tiered program within the application. So just people have your free version, your pro, your this, your that. We're going to have different tiers that's going to give holder incentive, and people that hold a large amount of shares. Certain incentives over other ones, and certain fun weekend packages and bonuses and free events and stuff like that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I like the sound of that.
I have a question. Can I get in
Okay.
here? Or are you
Yeah.
done, Taylor? I was just looking at the staking. I saw that that's like in quarter 1. So that will that be launching right away?
Yes. So we're actually going to be. So something that was very important for me was launching with multiple utility, because we're a very ambitious project. It would be foolish to say that we weren't, trying to go out and make a true change, and create true utility in the real world for our token. So it's important to give early investors holder incentive and community engagement. So the staking platform is going to be launching with the contract. Now, I'm most likely, the way I'm going to do it is because it's also very important. People like bullish charts, as well as bullish business plans. So the way that we would tier our launch events is we're doing our private sale now, then we're going to do a 3-week long whitelist contest with multiple marketing plans, pre-launch marketing plans, and then we're going to do a tiered launch event. So we will launch the pre-sale, then we will launch the token, and then we release staking, and then we release our NFT generator. Then we get CoinGecko, then we get Coin Market Cap. So there's something in the early stages where it's constantly keeping things exciting. We're releasing this into NFT. We're doing that. We're doing that. Then we're giving away our first vacation. Then we're getting a testimony. Then we're getting here. Then we're getting there. So it's very important, as a startup and a project, to tier those things very specifically, but they will be ready at launch.
Awesome. Do you have any idea? I mean, I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, but I was just wondering if you had any idea of like the APR, the APY, or
I do not. The way it's going to work is, so we created a dynamic staking system that pays out 10% of the staking pool daily. So you have 2%
right?
of buys and 3% of sales are going to it's going to be based off volume. They're going to accumulate into the staking pool. Okay. So obviously you get in early, you're going to get a larger percentage of that. It's going to have 10% payout daily of the staking pool, which just makes it to where the staking pool can never end. So it's very important that the staking pool will never end, because it's built into the token mechanics. And then when you get in, the 10% is going to keep getting larger and larger and larger as we get more and more volume and new investors and stuff like that. That 10% is going to keep getting larger. The payouts are going to keep getting bigger, versus the APY is usually getting smaller and stuff like that because more people are staking. Well, that still might be the case, but at least the payout, 10% payout, get larger with more volume and more people staking.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your answer. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I have a couple of questions. Firstly, I did want to say that I really do appreciate your passion for your project. I know that you're really invested in this, and I could tell that you're going to work really hard to make this as successful as possible. So I know you're not just there for the money, that you really want to do this, and you want to make this happen because you're passionate about travel and your project. Um,
Yeah,
my
there's plenty of ways to make money. It's some of them are a lot easier than creating a business and trying to change an industry. I promise you that.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So my question, firstly, for your NFTs, I know that you were interested in, I believe, a partnership with National Geographic. I wanted to know, like, how is that going, and what does that look like exactly?
So basically what that is just for more brand exposure. They're pretty difficult to get a hold of unless press release a charity organization, you're looking to make a donation of stuff in that nature. So we've had some back and forth. So we actually had started targeting is some photographers with published works in the National Geographic and other big publishers in the industry, because we want to show them why, and how they could benefit from our NFT generator, being that they could take their art, they could bring it right. They can go right over to our system. They upload their image. They can customize their image. But what's really, really cool, let's say you have this wildlife photographer and they're taking pictures in Argentina, down in the tropical rainforest, and they spot a jaguar or a leopard, and they wanted to put the location where that picture was taken. They actually just go into Google Earth, they type in the location, they take that URL code, and they plug it into our NFT generator, and it converts it into a QR code and then embeds it into the NFT before it's minted. That way, it makes their NFT scannable. When someone comes across that image, they could scan the image, and then they could go and people can see where that image was taken. So that's really exciting for these people that are very passionate about photography and wildlife photography and doing this. Is they could showcase where they were, where they took this this beautiful image. And it's also really great for content creators and travel bloggers, because they could create like a some editions of their collections that have a QR code, and when someone sees it, they're like, oh wow, this is beautiful, this is really awesome, I like this, let me scan this QR code. And they could take it, they could also do the same thing with a URL directly to their portfolio and bring more people to their portfolio to see their other artwork and stuff like that. Or if it's just, so that's kind of, sorry, I'll keep on questioning. I can keep going, but that to stay on topic of what you're asking about, where we were going there and why we were looking to target that, is because we want to show this whole world, this whole community, this platform that has all these these features to be able to that they just can't get anywhere else. And it's also good for the people that aren't very tech savvy and don't know how to edit a photo and do this and that, because it's kind of like Instagram where you just select your filter, select your frame, and then click the button and it's done.
Yeah, that would be me. Definitely not when it comes to tech. And then my second question was, and we spoke about you incentivizing the community, which I really appreciate. I like the governing aspect in a lot of tokens, but in this case, there are some incentives financially for your holders or your community members. Could you go into that a little bit?
Yes. So the outreach task force, there's going to be a couple different roles. It's basically going to be a process where they could fill out an application. If they're interested in working with direct growth of the company, they fill out the application, they go through an interview process, and then they start in a starting role, which would be contact. So their starting role is going to be contact. It's kind of every big dealership or every big business that works in sales is going to have one of these BDC, you know, BDC programs for these employees to come in, and there's going to be the ones that are setting roles, and there's going to be the ones that are closing the prospect. So you're going to have the people that are able to come in and basically make contact and set either a follow-up appointment or a direct contact with the higher position. The higher position is going to just introduce them more technically into what it would look like if they were to partner with Wanderlust, and then actually have them go through the application process to apply to be on our companion app. So those are going to be paid commissions based off of performance, obviously, for your contact role and for your application role for the ones getting people to companies and individuals to actually apply.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey there, Mike.
Hello.
JP, I'll let you go.
Hello.
Yeah, okay. I have so some questions. If you go to booking.com, they have a fee like 15% that they cover to the whatever company want to offer travels on their website. But this is something that the customer will not see. In the case, in your case, I will acquire my tokens and I will immediately be taxed 6% on my buy. Okay, so I didn't buy anything yet, but I'm already taxed. And I have this risk to have my token with a value who can fluctuate. Is that something that you will take in account in the future to make this more of a stable coin or to lower these taxes to avoid this fear from the customer itself? Because it's a thing when you pay upfront the taxes, and another one when you pay these taxes, but this is in the middle of the prices, so you don't see it.
Yes, so that's a great question, and it's something that was very important to me and very keen to me. That I made it to where I do not believe in the taxes and the tokenomics. Like I said, it's necessary. It's necessary for a startup. It's necessary to get some of the things in line, to get, obviously your liquidity, your marketing, your development, um, your staking. All these things are important, but for true utility, I do not believe in taxing, because like I said, on tax on top of tax on top of tax, I've talked about it many times when I'm going through to a community. But I made sure that within our contract, we have the ability to actually turn taxes completely off. And before, even if we don't want to turn taxes completely off, I have the ability to stop taxes from transfers into wallets of property owners. So if a property were to uh, come on board and we partner, their wallet is going to be automatically whitelisted, so that transactions going in are not going to be whitelisted or not going to be taxed. So the user will not pay taxes or transaction taxes on top of the buy and sell tax. And there is going to be we are working on a stabilizer event that can take place between the transactions that kind of protects the actual property owners as well, for the volatility of the space, because we know, obviously, we live and breathe this. It can be a volatile space. So we are working on a stabilizing process for that.
Okay, great. So you have everything covered already. Perfect.
I don't know about everything, but we try to think as many scenarios as possible.
Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ryan, you can go ahead.
Thanks, JP. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, it's going well, buddy.
All right. Quick question. Why did you choose the blockchain you're developing on?
Beautiful. The BSC. I personally truly believe in the BSC blockchain. Obviously, there's a lot of blockchains and different protocols being announced and going live and kind of doing their own thing. But if you look at it, they're all following the steps that Binance has already done. Their ecosystem is so vast, and they've built such an amazing exchange, such an amazing platform, such an amazing blockchain, and they're always the first to jump onto the innovation of the crypto space. They're willing to adapt to the evolution of the crypto space. So I truly believe in BSC. Not only are transactions cheaper and faster than some of your bigger coins like your Ethereum, but the ecosystem and the way that they develop, they jump right into NFTs. They jumped right into tokenomics. They're really involved with the actual evolution of the communities and the space. So I think that we haven't even really gotten started to see where Binance will be, and BSC will be. But that was my reasoning for going with Binance, even though, and then right now as well, within the space, you have moments like this right here where I'm coming to a community and I'm getting the opportunity to interact directly with people that could be to potentially investing. And you're seeing that more and more. You're seeing more vetting processes. You see more communities growing and coming together to secure the space, to make sure people that are safe, there's KYCs going out, there's doxing, there's audits, and you're just getting more and more and more of this. It's really hard. I think it's kind of hard to get scammed these days. This process projects are coming out. Someone finds a project that they like, and they're going to go ask someone else, hey, is this project safe? Then someone that has experience with vetting a project is going to come in, hey, is this project safe? So you're seeing more and more as that develop within our space alone. So that was part of my that was part of my decision making process as well, was thinking, it's becoming a safer, more community based space.
Hey, Mike, I really appreciate the answer. I do research on scams on various blockchains, and one of the biggest reasons I asked the question was for what you exactly covered right there. So I appreciate you letting me know the pulse of BSC DeFi and where it's headed. It's promising. I mean, CZ, obviously is pouring money into it to keep it going. So I wish you the best of luck developing there. I just would highly encourage to look beyond what's being marketed rather than what has been already done. There's been blockchains that have been built specifically for a lot of the events that our government likes to talk about as the reasons currently that people are developing on blockchains, like money laundering. There's blockchains out there that have already had that built 8 years back from where we're at right now. So in terms of scalability and forward thinking, there's ones that have been around that kind of have that, just not what your average person is marketed. But appreciate the answer.
Absolutely. And I will always be looking out. And I think that's very important at trying to adapt within the space myself. So, if down the line, if it makes more sense to go in a different direction, or, whatever's best for the project, I'm always going to be open to that. I'm speaking about it, a team about moving to a quick bridge, and which direction that we would bridge if we do. But yeah, we're looking at a lot of things that kind of open it up to more investors, and we're always going to try and do what's best for the project, best for the community, best for the company.
I think in terms of timing right now with the demographic you're going after, definitely easier onboarding price is the way to go. So I get it.
I have a question. I am in the pre-sale, so I will receive hopefully my tokens. Will I be able to buy immediately something with it?
No, so the utility, it is an app that's being developed through our partnership with Atom 6 Designs. So it's not our application is not going to be something that is released immediately, because we want to make sure that we have a plethora of options for users to be able to go in and choose from when we launch our Ad Companion app. And we want to make sure that we build the app. I'm very keen to quality, and when I do something, I want to do it to the highest quality of my, that I can possibly do, or that I could, think of. So I could I go out and do a cheaper, faster app and have it done, like that, to put it out there? Absolutely. Do I want to do it that way? No, I don't. Is it important to have utility right away for the users? Yes. So that's where our NFT generator and our staking platform is going to come into play, to give holder incentive and utility to the users immediately. So you will be able to go and mint NFTs for half the price as a holder, and you will be able to go and stake your tokens to get a passive income and create farming pools through DGem. Gem Cave.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, just so I understand, your contract isn't out yet.
No, it is not out yet.
Okay.
We were finishing on On Monday, we did our we actually mainnet tested it without our anti-sniper bot, and then we added this anti-sniper bot, and we're running through mainnet tests with the sniper bot, getting it. We want to make sure that it's nice and clean and pretty, because then we're sending it to DGEM to go through. They will run a mainnet test. If you're not familiar with DGEM, they are a exchange and launch pad that are only a few months old. They have a platform that owns three Certec audits, as well as Skynet monitoring. They are global partnerships with Certec, and after we do mainnet testing with them, we will be sending it in for the Certec audit.
Yeah, I'm familiar with DGEM. But it is an ERC20 token.
Yes.
And
No.
it is
it's
BSC20. It's
BSC,
ERC20
yes,
compliant.
ERC20, exactly. I just didn't want that to confuse some people.
And it's going to have taxes up front with a mechanism to change them, and it also has a staking mechanism.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's multiple
look forward
contracts.
to
So
reading it.
Our staking contract is separate from the contract. Our contract will actually just send tokens to the staking pool.
Oh.
And then you have a separate staking contract.
Oh, that works. I look forward to reading it when it drops. So just help me out here. Because I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. I'm a normie. I need to open a Coinbase account. I need to grab some token, send it somewhere, bridge it to BSC, buy Wanderlust tokens, and how does this benefit me over just a traditional travel agency?
Through being decentralized, so it's going to fix those. So you're going to, obviously, depending on where you live in the world, you're going to pay higher price based off of where you live. So when we decentralize it, it's going to format it so that everybody is paying a equal price, and then you obviously have the tiered within our companion app. You're going to have tiered benefits. So depending on how much you hold, you're going to have particular discounts. We're looking at getting lounges and getting other, travel related benefits. I guess keep using that word for the users. And then hopefully, with the evolution or the development of the company and the growth of the company, your little turns into a lot of traveling.
Okay. Do I get rewards for traveling?
So we are looking at creating the reward system, as well as when you think about it, there's so much to continuously develop. We have to scale it back and focus on direct development, where we plot all these things out for the business plan, and then you have to reach them. So we have certain things in place that we have to do now, but there's also things that have been discussed. I mean, has it been discussed about having our own credit card, our own, adding fiats for regular people? And there's many things that have been discussed that we will work on developing, but have to focus on the initial development, initial startups, initial processes, and just creating the community within the company as well. So there's a lot of these things where you're asking about, like, yes, that could be the future. Right now we are focused on our contract, our staking platform, our NFT generator, our partnerships, the companion app, and marketing and community building, and then creating a community, a cultured community, where we're going to have of certain events where it's kind of like traveling network, social network traveling is a theme that we're building for our community as well. So yes.
Okay.
Are we doing it right now? No, because there's a lot of things that we have to accomplish before we get there.
That's fine. I was just curious. any tech company needs to keep innovating fairly consistently, or you get pushed out of the game. That's the way it works. I was just curious what the roadmap looked like. I'd personally like to see more sort of laid out in front of me in terms of direction and value proposition, but I'm interested.
Yep. Like I said, we were building the foundation for our business, and we're also doing it through the of the community, because those things are all very important. You have to, you know, you have to build the business, you have to build the partnerships, you have to build the platforms, then you have to market them, and then you have to create a place where people want to stay and benefits for the people that stay. And when you create these things, then you're able to develop fast, unless you're one of these just hey, these meme coins that just people buy in, it blows up, creates a whole lot of volume, and they're like, hey, we should probably come out with a utility. Then they start developing a utility. We're doing it, where we laid out the business, we laid out the business plans, we laid out what we want to create, how we want to create it, the branding that we want to go for, the emotions we want to create when people see the branding. Everything has kind of been methodically uh, planned as far as the building of our brand, our company, what we want to accomplish, and then now it's just putting the pieces together and building it up until it's we're going to keep updating. Like I said, we're going to keep upgrading our milestones as we reach them.
Cool. Just one last question, then I'll let somebody else jump in if anybody else has a question. As a developer myself, do you guys have devs on staff? Are they part of your group?
Yes.
Or are they third-party contractors?
No. So my dev is directly part of my team. He's someone I have worked with in the past. He has built many platforms. He's built NFT marketplaces, crypto games, staking platforms, dexes, swaps, prediction games. He's young little Norwegian genius.
Wow.
When it comes to he got into Solidity, and learning Solidity just because he liked playing crypto games and these idle games, and he wanted to figure out how to build one.
Okay.
So then he has also worked with people directly within Surtech and all that stuff. And and then I have a grade B coder as well, who can code websites and stuff. The only thing that I went and third partied out was going to be our partner with Atom 6 Design. They are a web design and app development team that has worked with Google, IBM. I probably went through like 700 different portfolios and many interviews and Zoom calls before I decided on working with them. Just because how impressive and professional and excited they were to work with the platform. They actually are the team behind building the Mercedes-Benz app, Ford Mustang app, Banco de Brazil, IKEA. They actually built these applications. And they're really cool people. Plus they're from Brazil. My wife's from Brazil. We joke around and speak Portuguese and talk about barbecues and churrascos, and it's exciting, and it's a really good partnership. And then we're going to bring our developer in there to actually implement all the Web3 and the Solidity that needs to go in place for the application.
Cool. So just came to mind one more question. I understood you guys had a V1. What happened with that?
Yeah. So what happened was a lot of passion with meets a little bit less experience. So we worked really hard building this brand, building this website, building this beautiful concept without creating utility and without marketing, without creating a community. We just kind of like threw it out there, and we're like, oh, okay, yeah, I got a contract, I got it audited, I got excited. We put it out there. the contract was relatively simple. It was only about 600 lines of code. There was only, I think, 19 commands within the contract. It was a very safe contract, not very, scalable. And we had a very high supply. We weren't able to change the tokenomics. We were a reflections token before. I had to choose, when we launched, basically, we end up burning through like 85% of our supply. So a ridiculous amount of supply needlessly burnt. And we had a ridiculous supply of 1 trillion or 1 quadrillion. And, I had to decide, do I try and just market this brand and this concept, this idea, and waste a lot of money on marketing, or do I develop utility as I'm, going out um, and building these other platforms and these other, big grand aspects of the company. And I chose the latter. I wanted to, develop and give the user utility. So when I'm marketing something, I'm not just marketing an empty promise, but I'm giving something immediately. So I didn't like the way that the tokens were dispersed, first of all, through the marketing. There was like 75% that got sent to as BNB, and then there were 66%, and then 33% stayed as tokens. And I never wanted to sell any of the tokens, and there wasn't enough volume, so we just worked on developing and developing and developing and developing. And now that we developed our NFT generator, our staking platform, we got these things out. Then I was like, okay, what's important is I want to do staking. I want to create utility here, multiple utilities. I want to, then I had experience. I was pulled into other projects. I went full time into crypto. I started building this project last April. Then I went in full time in crypto in September. So I got more involved. My network grew vastly. I was pulled into other projects and marketing, and saw what worked, what didn't. I saw success. I saw failures. And then I just knew what I needed to do to engineer a plan for success for a new contract, and I knew what I needed to implement. So I wanted to lower supply. I wanted to lower the sales tax. I wanted to add commands into the contract. I wanted to be able to start correctly with something that we worked really hard on building, and that we absolutely love, and that I will not see fail. So it's just basically starting with more experience and more utility. I brought on some more members for my core team. I got a CMO who's highly connected in the marketing world full time. I've gotten community executives that are full time for managing our social and community and stuff like that. So I just made a lot of changes that were important for the success of Wanderlust.
That was a lot to absorb, but it all sounds good. That brings me to mind one more question. I promise it's my last. How do NFTs fit into all of this?
Because because for me, like, travel, as a very big important part of my life, traveling, one of the important things that we do when we travel is we take pictures. When me and my wife, we look back at a trip, or she looks back at a trip from 7 years ago, and oh my God, look at this, look where I was. And you just kind of relive those memories. With the way that technology and NFTs and virtual reality, I think there's a real aspect of the industry to capture there that I don't want to leave out. And part of that is being able to just take your memories and capture them on the blockchain. If someone wanted to take a picture of their family with Santa Claus at Disney World and just mint 15 of them and send them out to their family like postcards, they have that, through an NFT that's never going to be lost or burned or anything like that, as well as getting important for the development of social medias and content creators and travel bloggers and stuff like that, just moving towards uh, virtual concepts and currencies. It's just something that I felt had a strong strong presence within the travel industry, that I didn't want to leave out the experience side and just focus on the financial side.
Very cool. Thank you very much, Mike, for taking time to answer me. I'll just turn
Absolutely.
it over
Thank
to
you.
anyone else who has any questions before we close it up. Thanks.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the DGEM platform that you're using. I think they're handling your. Are they handling your pre-sale or private sale and your launch, or is it just
So
the launch? And what was their vetting process? Because I know they have a strict vetting process, from what I hear.
yes. So it's first of all, I had to be vetted by one of their salespeople before I even got introduced to the party, which I have been vetted by, I think, anybody that vets anybody these days with KYCs and doxing and videos and interviews, and trying to find out more about, just like you guys are, behind the scenes of the project, where we've been with development, why we went from V1 to V2. They wanted to know all these things too, where we have for the future, our roadmap. They wanted to know everything. They wanted to do an AMA, they wanted to do this, they want to do that. They want to make sure that they look at our contract before it goes live. They want to see our mainnet testing. They want to, they're just very, they put all these things, they implement all these processes that must be done up until the launch. As far as the private sale and the pre-sale, I had already opened the private sale up to my previous community before deciding on the DGM Launchpad and being introduced for them. But what's really cool is I'm actually able to just hand them over all the tokens with the spreadsheet of the wallets and how much tokens that are allocated to them. And then even the private sellers will be able to go onto their platform to withdraw their private sale tokens, as well as use pre-sale on there. Now, when we launch, they actually don't lock liquidity themselves, so they'll hand me off part of the liquidity, like 50% at first. I'll lock that, and they'll hand me the other 50%, then I'll lock that. And then we can't launch until after 24 hours after the platform, so that they can make sure that I had to pay them a certain amount of BNB, so that in case that I run away with all the money, they could refund people their money and stuff like that. In case I do something wrong, that they're able to refund people with gas fees and stuff like that. So they care about the investors a lot, which really drove me towards their platform. Plus, their dev is really well known, and has written apparently over 180 smart contracts, been Surtech audited multiple times. They have the Skynet, so that's just kind of, where they don't take any tokens, which I think is really big, because if you see some of these other launch pads, they take a percentage, and there's nothing that you could do. It's basically the amount that you have to add of tokens for liquidity, is there's an addition to it. You have to add, it's not just the pairing for the amount of tokens that are being sold, but it's an additional fee for themselves that they keep, and then they'll sell off and, affect the charts and all that stuff. And they make you whitelist, their wallets, and they're not paying taxes, and just all these other things that are just bizarre. And when I met with the DGEM platform and the devs and the team, everything just made sense. You know, they seem like a launch pad that is doing what the same vetting process that people are doing, and AMA process that are people doing in order to protect the investors. They're doing the same thing, but for tokens launching.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kay.
Yeah, I got one final question.
Oh, Tanner, you already went. Let me go.
Well, I just got one quick one.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm kidding.
I was going to ask if you guys planned on going to any of these conferences, these Bitcoin conferences in the future.
Yes.
That's like when you've met these people and you've shook these hands, you just get a sense of how real it becomes. And I hope you guys plan on visiting some.
I'm not only plan on visiting some, but I plan on sponsoring an entire event. Last year, I met with a lot of the heads of these things. Like I said, I was at Miami Crypto, networking with some potential partners that I could be releasing here soon, as well as went to Rome for Blockchain Weekly, where we were featured and got to meet with a lot of people and network. So I will continue going to these events because I think that real life interaction and relationship development is very important, especially for business. I do plan on actually taking over one of these events.
Awesome. I hope
This
to
year.
meet you there and shake your hand one day.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, just to chime in on that, before
Thinking
David.
maybe Vegas in October.
Very cool. Yeah, I was just gonna say the in-person events with something like this can really get a lot of traction. You said that you were at, the Miami, the last one we were at, they have different kind of luxury, panels and things, right? Where this would kind of fall into that category. Like we've seen jewelry, seen folks going to space and just all different kinds of art types of things, right? So with this, I feel like in person, you would have a lot of success. So it's exciting to hear that you will be doing that. Us at the Angels, we go to these events as well. We're just big believers of the projects that are there in person. The quality is always so much better. So that's good to hear. Anyways, David, go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, I get to
Hey.
tell my wife, hey, sweetheart, we get to go on a trip to, Dubai or here or Vegas or whatever. And hey, by the way, it's going to be for work. So she's like, okay. She was, when I told her, hey, I'm going to Rome, she's like, wait, no, you're not. I'm going to. I was like, okay. So we get to turn it into a trip, an experience. Go
So
ahead. I'm sorry.
Mike, not to be a marriage counselor or anything. No, I'm kidding. Kind of a marketing question. When I was getting myself up to speed on what's happening with crypto in the travel space, because honestly, I hadn't really thought about it. There is some competition. I don't know if it's direct competition to the way you're planning to do things, but there's 13 or 14 tokens at least called in the travel category doing various things. There's one Travala that's got like a 8-year, 6-year lead. So really, not to say, hey, obviously, you've got competition. Just marketing side, what are the high points of how you intend to differentiate yourself in the space from the jump, so you get a good start and keep volume up?
Yeah, wonderful question. Obviously, exposure is something that's very important. Like I said, I am working on that. I cannot announce yet. Some partnerships that have some very big influence within the crypto and DeFi space. That's going to be very exciting. As far as how I personally, I love seeing more projects move into the crypto space. Is it competition? Yes. Do I like a little healthy competition? Yes. But is it also exposing the industry itself to crypto more? Yes, which is more important. The more people, the more these hotel owners and these resort owners and managers and all these people see crypto moving more and more into the industry, they're going to wonder how they could tap into it. And Wanderlust is truly the answer to that, with a direct partnership benefiting the users. And we're also planning on events where we will be partnering with a particular hotel chain, resort chain, and having a community buy event for this event where we're saying, hey, look, let me show you. I'm going to book out 100 of your rooms for this weekend. We go in and we book out 100 of these rooms. Then we throw a Wanderlust party where my community members are able to hold and tip their services with my native token. Obviously, you just make it very agreeable and beneficial towards the resort or place of business. And then when you hold big press releases on these aspects, it's going to also almost create like a FOMO within the industry. People are going to want to jump into it next. Hey, I need a partner with that. I need a partner with that. Same thing people, do, because they'll realize very quickly that there's a whole, untapped industry of currency that they could be, benefiting from for their actual business. And what we are doing differently is we're actually looking to capture the entire travel industry or travel experience, not just, say, hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and, bridge a third party site, or take my third party site, bridge it, throw my currency, and boom, you have a problem. We're looking at the core problem. And the way I even came across this was because, I was not just some, world traveler that's been everywhere and experienced every problem that you run into when traveling. No, I went through a very big travel experience in my life that kind of changed everything. After I met my wife, and she's like, "Hey, come down to Brazil with me," and I was traveling up and down the coast for 3 months, and then we were looking at booking a cruise. I didn't get to go on the cruise after booking it because my son was born. But it was like a 19-day cruise, no, 17-day cruise, something like that, across like 9 different countries. And we were booking it in Brazil. We booked 2 tickets in Brazil, and then we went to go book the other 2 tickets when we were in back in Florida. And there was actually like a substantial amount of difference as far as how much I was paying, because I was in Florida. Not even just because of the currency exchange, because if you go through the currency exchange and do all that stuff, I'm still paying a substantially amount more because of where I'm based out of. And that was my first true real experience seeing this problem with geographical traveling. So we're looking to solve the core problem of geographical traveling, and we're trying to capture the entire experiences by bringing stuff like our NFT generator. We're trying to give back to the community with our lottery system, where we're going to be able to pay for these people to go on these grand vacations, that they could win, and it could change their life, or they could experience something they never experienced before. And then we'll be able to do testimonies, we'll be able to do press releases, and these events that are taking place are just going to get bigger and bigger with our NFT generator. If we start off the first one with the first, after 500 NFTs are minted, or after 1,000 NFTs minted, let's say every NFT that was minted by a Wanderlust holder. When you have 1,000 of them, that's going to be 0.05. It's like 50 BNB. That's like $18,000. Right now, you take half of that, you give someone a $9,000 vacation. That's going to be pretty cool. But then as you scale up and you keep volume going, and then you go where you're doing 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 NFTs, because there's so much being minted on your platform as you marketed it, and then you're giving people 20, 30, 40, $50,000 vacations. I mean, as well as also having half that money for development and further marketing. It's just, it could get very cool, very exciting, and I'm really, really happy to be able to have these events take place.
I wish you the best of the luck. Your enthusiasm is infectious.
Thank you. Trust me, I am not ignorant to the fact of how much work it comes along with the ambitious goal that we have. And I am also not anyone who's not familiar with what it looks to work long days. Coming from the financial and sales industry, I was working 80 hours a week, but behind a desk. Do I work less now? No, I work more. But can I do it from anywhere or while doing certain things? Yes. So I'm not afraid to put in the time for the right outcome, or take whatever take whatever steps necessary to get to the next level. So it's exciting, but it's a lot of work, and I know that, and I'm prepared for it.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of work, but also lots of great questions. Just kind of sitting here listening through it all, and to echo David, yeah, your enthusiasm, it is infectious, and that's something that as an investor I always look for in certain teams, individuals, right? Because we're really investing into you at the end of the day, and how you're going to be able to present that project, scale it, is just solely down to the team, right? obviously communities to some capacity, but my belief is we invest in teams. So, you know, hearing you walk through this now, I just was thinking, you know, hospitality, travel, right? We covered, you know, most of the basis. Has a thought ever came up about targeting maybe some events, right? And when I say events, not crypto events, but like Burning Man, right? Like EDC, like experiences that people
Actually, it
pay a
has.
fortune to go to. So, okay, explain that to me. How has that came across, and what are those talks looking like?
It actually came across from one of my moderators. It came across from one of my moderators talking about going to a music festival and being in this music festival, and you know, not only teaching people about Wanderlust, but teaching people about crypto and having an educational, uh, uh, an educational experience for these people, while you know, introducing the world to crypto and showing them how they could be able to purchase events like this in the future with with Wanderlust. We have not have any direct communication yet with event holders, for any kind of music festivals or anything like that. It is not something that we have directly reached out regarding to as of yet, but it is planned for, because I think that's important to have like events like concerts and this and that and stuff like that available too, because it's part of the life experience. It's part of the Wanderlust, you know, personality and experience that we're all searching and looking for.
No, I agree. I think it aligns perfectly, right? And I know a lot of folks are trying to penetrate that space, projects, right? Different teams, and you know, the fact that you're coming out with the NFTs and it'll have like that use, right? To say, look back maybe 5 years or however long it is since you've been on that vacation, and really kind of have that memorabilia aspect of it. So, like for instance, an example, the Super Bowl this year, right? The ticket holders that are going to the game, like they'll be airdropped NFTs to have that kind of memorabilia for.
I have some NFTs from this year's season.
Very cool. So yeah, my thing is really kind of honing back in on these like larger kind of festivals, right? I think that, you know, outside of just really the wanderlust targeting maybe, you know, certain hotel chains and some of these folks that maybe have like, you know, Airbnb types, and to get in that, I think having something around, you know, an event like a EDC, or maybe like I'm saying like a Burning Man, incorporating all those other things around it, I think that you would have a lot of synergy there. And I think it correlates a lot with your target demographic and your market via age group as well. And if you look at any metric out, and kind of some of the studies that are coming out, most younger generations, that we like to travel, right? We like to be abroad, work from home. But traveling is one of the main things that I'm seeing over young people buying homes at the end of the day, right? Like most people would rather travel these days. So and people like to party, man. And you know, I think that at the same time, this coin it's almost like a lifestyle type of token as well. You know, get the experiences, you have the lifestyle. So if your lifestyle's going out and doing a bunch of drugs at Burning Man and partying it up, like what that yeah, like what better way to get there than maybe getting it you know, through Wanderlust, right? Like that's the definition of wanderlusting in my opinion. So yeah, man, just
it is.
Yeah, so
I love conversations like this, and I love experience like this where I come into a new group of individuals and I hear feedback, because it just strengthens the belief that there is, you know, a true utility, and giving, you know, the opportunity for someone to speak up and say, hey, I think there would be great use case here. And then I'm also, you know, just doing the same thing, whether it's going to and talking to people about it in public, or going into new communities where there's always someone that reaches out, hey, you know, I like what you said. I actually have a friend that does this, or I have someone I would like to introduce you to that does this, and you know, it's just ever expanding. So you know, that's why, you know, actually I'll pull it up. I have, because I think what you're saying pairs really well with, you know, what we want to build as a community, as loans, and you just kind of really hit the nail on the head right there when you said, you know, a lifestyle, because I truly believe that we are, you know, a lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, they even get more abroad, right? Like, so for me, like I love to travel. Like I've been to Burning Man, I've been to a lot of these different things, EDC, and then like, I come from the cannabis space, right? So, like being there, like, what if you could do tours of like, I'm still consulting and working with a large, like, MSOs and brands and growers throughout the country. So, like, what does that look like if they wanted to have like private tours of their facilities, right? Like, up in California, where we have a lot of them, or even up in
Yes.
Vancouver, right? Like, that's a lifestyle and that's an
That's an
experience.
experience.
Just hanging out in
Yes.
Telegram and in the kind of crypto world, like it seems like everybody smokes weed anyway. They go together like, freaking unicorns and glitter in a sense. So crypto and weed, that is. But in essence, though, creating that lifestyle and being able to implement that to even abroad more, right? Like not just traveling, not just events. Like I really see this scaling out. So I'm just kind of giving you some ideas now to run with. But I think a lot of those things is something I would take note of and bring back to your team and really explore, because those are all potential revenue streams and really, again, experiences for your users, aka your investors, right? So to leverage. So I just kind of spitballing stuff at you now, but this has been great. Does anybody else maybe on the call have any more questions by chance? Okay.
Or suggestions, inputs, any feedback at all. I love hearing all of it.
Hey, Mike, I really wanted to let you know what David said. Your enthusiasm is contagious. Speaking about your project, you can tell the amount of passion that you've put, the amount of thought and time that you've put into those thoughts of what you're doing right now. I really look forward to watching you and where you take this project, and I might have to buy my first BSC project because of you now. So there you go.
I appreciate that. It really means a lot to me to hear that feedback, because like you guys say, I am very passionate about this project. It's my brain baby. It's I've put a lot of, not a countless. I've put a lot of my own portfolio and a lot of my own money building the brand and starting the business and starting some of the stuff that I have already done, and then I obviously I do this every day where I'm constantly just working on, I'm always talking with someone, every hour of the day about, what's the next step, even if it's small. And I actually have a charitable event that's going to be released here in hopefully next week. But I will be giving a preview. I've had a NFT drawn from scratch. It's going to be MP4 animated art, and it's going to be a series of 3. We have the first video that's being finished up today, and what they are is they're highlighting the beauty of different environments around the world, like the jungle, the desert, the snow lands, and it's going to highlight that in a very high quality animated video. And then we're going to put these NFTs up for sale, a limited amount of them, and then we are going to be donating a portion of the proceeds to a charity organization.
Gotcha. All right.
So that's
One
another
last.
big part.
No, it's very interesting. So is your event? Are you guys gonna pull off Fire Island for real for the world? Are we gonna get the reinvention of Fire Island?
I am buying my first property in Brazil this year, which I will be listing on the application on the beach in the northeast of Brazil, Beira-Mar, to be precise. But I do plan on buying properties, and hopefully one day an island would be very cool. In the company's name and in the corporation's name as well. That's something that we really look forward to, going down that avenue.
Hey, I appreciate it, but I am going to wrap it up on that one. I appreciate your enthusiasm towards all your questions. You coming out this evening and taking the brute force of our core team and deal flow community. So again, just want to thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I dropped a message in our main chat, so let's connect offline. I'd like to, take advantage alongside Ryan and enter as well and support your project. So yeah, with that being said, you got spring break coming up. So when are you sending your first vacation out?
We actually have 2 winners already that will be getting sent out already. So we have one that is going to Dubai from previous events, and then one that is going to the Dominican Republic. And then we'll set up a target goal for the amount of NFTs minted. And it's not actually the amount of NFTs, because you can mint any number of one photo with one transaction, only paying one transaction fee. But it's the amount of transactions that occur with the contract. And yeah, then that we're actually creating a BEP10 token that every time someone interacts with that contract, the BEP10 token will be dropped to the same wallet that interacts with the contract. And when we have a targeted number reach of transactions occur, or BEP10 tokens sitting in wallets, another contract's going to pull all those wallet holders and randomize a winner, and then that person will prove ownership of the wallet, and then they will win a vacation. But we have our first 2 already going out.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I can see that working with the NFTs really well, and I'm excited to see how this project goes. Like I said, I'm big in travel, and again, you've came in and really answered a lot of questions, and we're going on 1:30 now just on this call, and I think that this has been very, very educational for us. And no, it's not long for us. Like, this is what we want right at the end of the day, is have this engagement and really put you through those questions. And I want to commend you and say you've done a great job, answering everything and really highlighting the project. So with that said, we'll wrap this up, and we'll be following up with everything with you. So we'll compress this down and have it published out and be sharing with the communities along with our platforms as well. So highly, recommend sharing this with your investors or potential investors to take a listen, to do their due diligence. And for anybody that maybe missed the call that's just listening in now, you can find them on the web. It's Wanderlust.finance. That's WANDER Lust LUST.finance, to read more about it, and find the Telegram to join in and ask more questions with the team here and Mike. But Mike, thanks again, my friend. That'll conclude our AMA tonight. Really appreciate you again coming on, and fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.